In the meantime, let's bring out our next guest. This dude was great on the show, and it's great to have him on the circuit.
That or that.
And they like him so much that they finally gave him his own panel. Hands together for Jeffrey Parise! I did not know that was going to happen. That was clever. We did that for you, I think, one time early on.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
I like it.
Good to dust it off. All right, Jeff,
Guys,
give him help.
Thank you. Here for the band. Yeah. Yes. All right. All by myself. Hey, does everybody miss Gabe as much as I do? Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just get right into it. I hope you guys are having such a good time and a great day. I certainly am. Spent the morning walking along the seawall in Hoboken. Really nice. It's a beautiful place around here. All right, let's get into it. Let's start here.
Hi Jeff.
Hi.
My name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I just wanted to say yesterday was the first time I'd seen you in a panel or whatever, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't love Asmodeus, but you are amazing.
Aw,
you
thanks.
so funny. Yeah, and we just fell in love with you, and I was thinking, I know you've done like soap opera things, and I've seen you on Supernatural, but have you ever done comedy or stand-up? Because you're hysterical.
Oh, thank you. I have done comedy. I was on a show called The Detour. Everybody saw that? Oh, it was on TBS. And the comedies, I haven't done stand-up though, but the other comedy stuff is, have been a lot of obscure films, short films, and I always try and infuse some sort of comedy into even the most serious of roles. Like I thought Asmodeus was hysterical at times. Maybe that's just me, but no, I'd like to do a lot more comedy. I have one director friend who said that sitting on a gold mine, but when am I gonna mine these wells? So, if anybody out there has comedy scripts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi.
Hi.
So, two things.
Okay.
One, did you feel like your character's death was somewhat sudden, like it happened really fast?
Yes.
I didn't quite believe it at first that it actually happened.
Me neither.
And then, secondly, how do you feel about the correlation that's been connected between your character and the similarity of Colonel Sanders from KFC?
Every time, I'm never gonna escape it. I don't see the similarities. I just.
You don't?
No, I mean, maybe, I don't know. See, because Colonel Sanders, he has a black tie, you see.
Okay, so if you had a black tie then?
Well, Colonel Sanders, he doesn't have a hair on his cheeks, and he has white hair and he wears glasses.
You're just getting too specific.
And Colonel Sanders has short hair. And Colonel Sanders can't decimate people by going like this. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't mind it, but I don't personally see it.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, I really enjoyed meeting you at Con yesterday. You were just like light up the room, so thank you.
Thanks.
I just wanted to know how you do your animal noises so well, as I was really impressed by that.
Pure instinct. Pure channeling instinct. And my throat is paying for it today. Yeah. I don't know. I sometimes, it's not all animals, but I have an ear for some. Like the mourning dove. You guys, not everybody was at karaoke, huh? Yeah, babies. Is that? Yeah. Yeah, so does that answer the question? How did I do it? I don't know.
Thank you.
How do I do it? I don't know. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Just first off, I had a blast on stage last night.
Oh, cool. Me too.
Yeah, we'll wreck you. Anyhow, so my question is, if you could be in any other TV show, what show would you be in and what character?
Wow. That's a big question. Show that's on right now or that has ever been on?
Anything.
I say The Sopranos. And character, I mean, I wouldn't want to be Tony Soprano because nobody could do it like him. So I think it would have to be someone like, maybe like Christopher. Not that I could do it like him either. I just don't. Any character in there. I would actually like to be a character that wasn't in there. That was written for me. So that's my favorite show of all time. No offense. No offense. Thanks.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
I just want to say, first of all, you were awesome at karaoke last night.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I should think of a fourth career with this thing, huh?
So my question is, if you could change one thing about Asmodeus, what would it be? Or would you keep him the same and not change anything at all?
First thing I would change is have him be indestructible. Other than that, no, I loved him. I loved everything about him. Actually, no. I mean, I guess it goes along with being indestructible, but I wish that he had those powers on his own so he could have stuck to it. Because I think his powers, were dependent on getting the juice. So if he would have somehow been able to cultivate those powers on his own, I think he could have ruled hell.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, I'm getting my exercise today.
Hello.
Hi.
So last night you did a lot of singing.
Hi.
Hi. So you sing, right? Like you do this professionally?
No.
You need to because you're amazing.
I'm telling you, I found something through these karaoke's. I don't even do karaoke other than this. And I think it was first when I was in NJCon. Yeah, Vegas! It was the first time I really just went for it. And yeah, and I'm fine. And the more cons that go on, the more I'm singing, I'm like, I can't tell if it's because there's such an echo on the mics or there's backup vocals, but I'm thinking, sounds all right.
It's good. It's good.
So yeah, no, I'm not a singer.
Yeah.
I'm a singer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. I wanted to say thank you for last night.
You're welcome. Thank you. I had a blast.
When you came down and put the mic by me.
Yeah.
Do you remember that I asked you at autograph?
To do it?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
And
But then when I came down, there was no words to be singing, so we had to wait for a minute.
yeah, wait a minute, then I sang.
Yeah.
But I know karaoke isn't your full thing, but I tell you, you are.
Hey, man, maybe I should start a whole fourth career with the karaoke.
Especially
Karaoke host.
Especially with the animal songs.
Yeah.
Especially with the animals.
Actor, painter, sometimes filmmaker, karaoke host.
Yeah, the animal sounds.
Yeah.
I went to sleep last night. I couldn't stop thinking
Nice. Good. My throat couldn't stop thinking about him either.
But I'll see you later at photo op.
Yes, you will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So, the first song from karaoke yesterday is still stuck in my head.
Me too.
Yeah. And,
Daylight come on.
like describe your personality, what song would it be?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What song would you use to describe your personality? And like, yeah.
What song would I use to describe my own personality? I'm on a highway to hell.
Thank you.
Hello? Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
Jeffrey.
Hi there.
All I have to say is I love you, and
Aw.
what was your favorite thing about playing the badass character of evil Colonel Sanders, aka Asmodeus?
Well, thank you. My favorite thing about playing Asmodeus, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again, was everything. I loved everything about this character. Like, you know, there are sometimes you'll get a script and you'll play characters and there's things you go, I don't think it's challenging to make it work. Some certain lines or certain things that they would do, there was nothing out of character with this guy. All the writing, everything about it, I loved. And then there's this, which is what a gift, this was something, I had no idea. When I first got on, people were kind enough to send me tweets going, welcome to the Supernatural family. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, I don't know what this is. Now I know what you guys mean by the Supernatural family. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Hi, I love you.
There's so much love in the room, I love it. It's great.
I know that Misha, Jensen, and Jared, and like a lot of the cast like to play pranks on each other. Have you ever been pranked by them, or have you like pranked them, and what was it?
There wasn't so much pranks. There was a lot of funny stuff that happened though. When I had Jensen and Misha on the ground. No, Jared and Misha on the ground on that my final episode, and I was like going like this, and they were like, like this. We had just been talking about hot peppers, and what's the hottest pepper we had all eaten and everything, and then we start doing that scene, and they both were, and it worked. They're like, let's make a face like just eating hottest pepper that you can imagine, as I'm like taking the life out of it. So they're like, and it worked. And it was hard to not laugh because I know what they're doing. I knew what they were doing. So yeah.
Great.
Such a fun set.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm ready. Hi, Jeff.
Hi there.
I'm Anne Marie, and I'm the mother of like a really big fan. My son David loves Supernatural and love all the characters.
Nice.
But I got a question about your new role that's coming up on The Young and the Restless, which is my favorite.
Oh, good. Right on.
And I know you play a character named Simon.
Yes, Simon
And
Black.
are you going to be connected with Sinclair, the lawyer, or Adam Newman?
Now, you know I can't say a word about this new character that's not been on the air
Okay,
yet. You know I can't.
I tried. No spoilers. No spoilers.
It's no use of no harm in trying. But
Yeah,
no, I
but
can't say.
welcome to the show. I'll be
Thanks.
watching.
All right, cool. Yeah, it starts November 1st.
Yes,
It's the first
I will be
episode.
watching it, and that's my favorite show.
Awesome,
And
right.
Supernatural is also one of my son's favorite show, and now
that's
I
cool,
became
huh?
a big fan.
That's cool how that worked out. I've met a lot of General Hospital fans here too, right? Yeah, baby! You met the Cardinals! Free Cardinals! Thanks.
Hi, oh my gosh, I love you too.
Aw,
I was wondering if you could be any female character from Supernatural, who would it be?
Wow, that's a good question. First one that comes to mind is Mary. She's badass. And the matriarch of them all, so yeah, Mary. Thanks. That was what you asked, right? What female character would I? Okay.
Oh, what female? Okay.
What female character would I want to be on the show, on Supernatural?
Okay.
Mary.
Hi, Megan, right here in New Jersey. And I wanted to know what was the best and worst professional advice you've ever received?
Good question.
The best? Wow. Start with the best. Ernest Borgnine told me once, because I did a few episodes of the show called The District a long time ago, and he was on, and I think he was like 82 at the time. Had been, you know, he worked until he died, and I said, "What do you have? Do you have any advice for a long career?" And he said, "Mind your business." And he said, "I don't mean it like, you know, hey, mind your business. I mean, mind your business. Make sure you're where you need to be. Make sure you're on time. Make sure you're ready. Make sure you have your lines down. Make sure, make sure your mind's on business of acting. It'll be good." So that was good advice. The worst advice? I think it's probably from me. God, I changed my name once to Jeff with just one F. Because I wanted to be different. So it's like J-E-F, Parise. And they were the worst headshots. I think I still have some of those lying around. It was when I first got to LA. Because I got to LA and I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of Jeffs out here, there's a lot of people out here, and a lot of actors, so I gotta do something to stand out. And that's what I did. One F. Yeah. Yeah, then I started booking roles. Hi.
Hi, I'm Felicia, and you just mentioned GH, and I'm a fan of both Supernatural and GH, and there have been a lot of actors who've been on both shows. So what Supernatural actors should be on GH, what GH actors should be on Supernatural, and what would they be?
I think Maurice Bernard would make an amazing villain, or an amazing demon.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. He would make a killer demon. Finola Hughes would also make an incredible witch.
Oh yeah.
Woo, she's very witchy herself. She's so great. And then I think David Hyde Jones should definitely be on General Hospital as a corrupt doctor. Yeah, a corrupt gynecologist. Turns out he doesn't have a license.
Hi. I don't know if I can actually speak after that. So first I wanted to just tell you that you are like so fun, it's ridiculous. And you were actually the first celebrity to ever acknowledge my presence on Twitter ever. So that was really cool, so thank you for that.
Celebrity? What?
But I wanted to ask you, so a lot of us come to Supernatural Con, like we check off a lot of stuff on our bucket list. So meeting you guys and like doing this is like really big for us. I just wanted to know if you'd be willing to share something that you want to check off your bucket list.
Yeah, I want to go to Africa. And really master some of those animal noises. First-hand experience, go on safari. No, I'd love to go on a real proper safari and just see while it's still there, and hopefully play djembe with master djembe players, the African hand drum, which I'll be playing with Saturday Night Special later on tonight. So yeah, that's on my bucket list.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First, I wanted to compliment you on your art. You appear to have many talents.
Thank you.
And I did post on my Facebook group for Supernatural asking if people had questions for you. One of the common ones was the voice your idea, or was that scripted?
A little bit, well, mostly scripted. I just ran with what they had. They had said that the reference was Frank Underwood from House of Cards. That sort of, and then I just took it, put him way down into Nolans. Yeah, I felt like he was more of a Nolans kind of guy. Which I know Frank Underwood was from Louisiana, but I don't know if he was from New Orleans or not. But so it was already in the script. But this was one of those auditions. It was one of those parts that I got when as soon as I read it, I was like, this is mine. This is mine. And it never went away. Like from working on it while I was reading it, it just felt like it flowed and flowed. And then when I walked in the room, it was that scene where he addresses all the Crowley minions. And as soon as I walked in the room, there's like all the writers and producers and director, and I did that, and I felt like Asmodeus. And
I would agree. I think you did an amazing job, and I did like the character.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
All right, first, loved you last night. You were the highlight of the evening.
Oh, thanks.
And I wanted to ask, as far as playing Asmodeus, what do you think was the most difficult and the easiest part of that character?
The easiest part was there was a lot of ease around him. There was a lot of ease to playing that part, and a lot of it all starts with the writer, because if it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage, and it was all on the page. So I just really had to follow the map that was given to me. The hardest part was keeping that suit clean. Yeah. Craft service was challenging. A lot of eating like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. So just the way the speakers are facing, I couldn't hear, so I apologize if my question was asked already. What are top 3 things on your bucket list to do?
Well, there was
Africa.
Yeah, so she asked what's the top 3 things on my bucket list. We just said the one is Africa, going to Africa. Okay, number 2, get on an incredible HBO show, because they're doing some of the best. I think they're just doing such incredible work on their comedies, their dramas. And number 3 bucket list, get some paintings into a museum. Thanks.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi.
I've been thrilled to learn more about you since you've been on Supernatural. I loved watching you there. I had not realized you were in one of my favorite shows, Jericho. Yes.
Yeah!
I know, I love that show.
Who all saw that episode? You know who I had the scene with?
Yeah. I'll forgive you for that one. That's okay.
I punched out Richard Spade.
Yeah. Will you leave Bill alone?
He got his revenge though.
Yes.
Took a while, but he got his.
Yeah. What I really wanted to ask you about too is, I know it is on Vimeo now, but I actually had the privilege to see Mama Bear, Matt Cohen's Mama Bear, at the Philly Film Festival. I just loved it. Yeah. I was thrilled with how many Supernatural people were in it, but you had like a big part and probably one of the most memorable and entertaining, and your character just really shone in that. So what was that like for you? How did you like doing that, working with Matt? And are you hoping it might get greenlit for a full film too?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Hell yeah, I'd love to expand that character. I really, yeah. You know, it's funny. First of all, thank you. And it's funny so a lot of times friends will do short films or films or projects, and you know, when they give you the script, you just cross your fingers that it's any good at all. And this one was more than good. Like it was another one of those characters that just really read. As soon as I read it, I'm like, I know who this guy is. And I had mentioned District before. This was a show that I did many years ago. And it was a very similar character, and I thought, I'm gonna pull from this character from like 15, 16 years ago, add on to him and make him this guy. And when I showed Matt that, and I suggested this, he's like, that's exactly it, that's exactly him. And he had called and said, you know, he had been trying to cast that character for a while, and he said, and then all of a sudden you popped into my head and I couldn't hear any other person saying lines. So it all was so smooth. And he's a really great director because same way Richard Spade is, you can always tell when the director has acting experience. They direct differently. And I really, really enjoy when they do have acting experiences because they, I think they get the characters in a way that not all directors always do, because a lot of other directors have so many other things they're having to think about rather than just the performance. And when the director's really focused on the performance, I think everybody shines, and I think that's one of the reasons that movie is so incredible. And he also had his hat in the ring of all the action sequences, and I mean, he was really an amazing directorial debut for that guy. Check it out, Mama Bear, online now.
Hi, so I heard you're from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I am also from Indianapolis.
Ah.
And I was wondering, how did you get out?
I drove. I didn't discover acting until late high school, my senior year, and then that's what I want to do. And I went to college for a couple of years just to study theater. And then I just thought, you know, all right, I kind of got the basics. Let me go out and try it. And so with $700 and a dream, I drove across the country. And here we are. Yeah, it was just, I think it's also, I didn't know any better. Like, I just didn't know that. And I'm pretty grateful that my parents didn't know any better either, because they were like, yeah, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And we had no reference to this, because none of my families are artists or actors or anything like that. So we just saw what we saw on TV and thought it was possible from ignorance and hubris. And through many years of ups and downs, a lot of downs, and climbing back up, it paid off.
Is to be a very intimidating antagonist, but I don't find you intimidating at all, which is a compliment. And I want to know, is it difficult to watch yourself in such a malicious role? Is it?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. No, I love playing bad guys. I just think, again though, especially when they're well written. There's nothing worse than a badly written bad guy. But if it's well written and you can really have fun with it and find the justifications as to why this person is like they are, it's like it's the best sort of exorcism that you can do. And personally, I think that might be why you see this light energy that you see from me, because I put it all out there and then keep it there. Whereas a lot of people don't have an outlet for the dark energy that's in all of us. So I'm able to balance it out through my work. Thank God.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Camila, and let me tell you that you're so good at making those animal sounds, and I would like to know which is your favorite animal, and if you wanted to have it as a pet.
Gosh, she wanted to know what my favorite animal is and what I want to have as a pet. That's a tough question because I love pretty much all animals. I mean, there's a couple that are assholes, but... first of all, I don't have any pets. But there's has anybody seen Valentino? Yeah. Okay, so Valentino was a wild bluebird who visited me on a daily basis for 2 years. I'd keep my door open, and he just appeared one day on the doorstep, and then I saw him like really in the middle of the doorstep, like, and I'm sitting on my couch, just like, come on in. Walked around, he's looking around, and I had my phone, started recording him, and looking around, he's looking at paintings, looked at me, went back, like, flew away. Next day, I put out some pine nuts for him, and came back the next day, comes in, jumps up on the table, eats the pine nuts, looks around, flies back out. My mind is blown. So I started recording his visits, and I also noticed like what it was doing to me. It was just a really profound experience for me, especially at that time in my life. And I would sit very still with pine nuts in my hand, and I would slowly start to take away where I would leave them, put like one, and then the majority of them would be in my hand. And I'd sit there with my coffee in the morning, and he'd come in, and I'd watch him fly around looking for where all the pine nuts that used to be there were, and then he'd see this, and he'd get close to my hand and fly away. Well, this went on for about a month, until finally, he started eating out of my hand. And he came back, like I said, he would come daily, and then sometimes he'd disappear for a couple of weeks, sometimes a month, sometimes 2 months, and then he'd always come back. And I ended up making a short film about it, about the whole experience. And I put some writing over top of it. And my neighbor, who's just an adorable 8-year-old girl, she did the narration. And it just walks you through what I went through during that experience, and I think what a lot of people probably would have gone through had they did that themselves. So I never wanted him as a pet, though. I never considered him a pet. I just considered him a wild friend who would come and visit me. And I've since had to move from that house, and it's amazing because everybody, one of the first things that all my friends would be like, whoa, what's gonna happen with Valentino? And strangest thing, I was told last November that I had to leave that house. He came in mid-November, and I told him, and it probably looked like a crazy person because it's just me and a wild bird, and I'm telling him I gotta move, and it's been great knowing you and all that stuff. He never came back after that. Now, recently I've moved into a new house. It's about 15 minutes away from my old house. Day 1, a bluebird visited me. It's not him, because he doesn't eat out of my hands, but he's already, I'm there about a week and a half now, and he's already coming inside. I'm starting the whole process over again, so.
Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, but I encourage you guys to check out the short film. It's on Vimeo too, I think. It's called Valentino.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. So I wanted to know where you draw inspiration for your artwork.
A lot of places. Animals, obviously, is one of them, and then people are another. I've done this, I've been doing this one particular series called Naked and Famous for about 16 years now. And it was inspired by the first time I went to Burning Man, which was like 17, 18 years ago when it was still counterculture. Nobody knew about Burning Man. And it was for those of you that know what Burning Man is, it's an art festival out in the desert of Nevada, and thousands of artists from all over come and gather for a week and create this little city for a week that is just the most magical place on earth. There's a cashless system, there's no sponsors, everything is bartered and traded, and there's just so much incredible art out there. People make themselves up with jewelry and tattoos and hats, everywhere you look is a feast of the senses. And it's really hot during the day, so most people have their shirt off, men and women. And you know, the first day, because I grew up in America, I was like, and then about, 2 hours passed, I'm like, and then, half a day passed, it's like, oh, yeah, duh, this is how it should be, it's hot, everybody should be able to take the shirt off. And then it wasn't sexualized at all. So then I started doing this series when I got back from Burning Man called Naked and Famous, where everybody would come and friends that I knew would take off their shirt and whatever accoutrements they had, jewelry, hats, whatever, tattoos, and they would stand heart open and I would paint them. And they're life-sized portraits, and I have over 150 in that series. Yeah, try moving all those. So that's one of them, but those are the subjects that inspire me. I think what really unlocked everything for me was when I was in my early 20s, I got cast in a film that shot in Berlin, and I hadn't been to Europe. And I had dabbled in painting before I went to do this film. And I asked them to pay me in cash and fly me out of Prague 2 months later. So I took that cash and I backpacked Europe by myself. And it was the longest and the longest I'd been away from home and the farthest I'd ever been away from home. And there were no cell phones back then or anything, so so I'm just getting lost in Europe. And there were some times where I'd go a day or two without talking to people because I'd be in a country where I didn't speak the language. But what always spoke to me was paintings. I'd go into these museums and I would see a painting and something would stir. And a lot of the times it was a subject that I connected with, and I'd see the strokes. And then I'd look down at the date, and it's from the 1600s or 1700s, 1800s. This artist and the subject is long dead, yet this piece of art, this creation, is stuck around. And here's this kid from Indiana who doesn't suddenly feel so lonely anymore because he's connecting with a piece of art. I thought, this is the kind of game that I want to play when I get back home. So when I got back from that trip, I haven't stopped painting since.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Hello again. Again, awesome time at karaoke. One of the best I've seen in almost a year or so. This kind of piggybacks off the last two questions, because I saw your artwork. I am a turtle mommy. I have 5 turtles at home, so I saw your turtle painting. I can't afford that. Do you have prints of the turtle?
Unfortunately, I don't have prints of the turtle, no. Yeah.
I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I want it, and then I saw the price, and I'm like,
sorry, I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have them like online or anything? Like
prints online?
Yeah, do you sell any other your prints online that I can get like shipped to me or something?
Not of the turtle, unfortunately. No, I have, I think the only prints I have right now are the ones that are displayed.
Will you post if you decide to do a website with it?
I will, yeah. No, I have a website, but I don't have, if I do prints of the turtle, for sure I'll post it, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, no, because I saw it and I loved it, and as
thanks.
a turtle lover,
yeah,
like I wanted it, and I didn't see any prints out, and I thought maybe you might have had it, like online or something where I could have ordered it.
No, yeah, with the way prints work, like I don't do the sort of, I don't do the made to order ones, or order, whatever that is.
The custom orders?
Yeah, the custom orders, because you do archival prints and it's a whole process to get it to where it's like, and I tried to do this, I went through this one company and there would, like, you could take any of the paintings and get a print, and I got it back, and the quality was just shit. So, I don't, yeah.
Yeah, because the turtle was a red air slider, and 4 of my 5 were red air sliders.
Nice. I used to catch those growing up in Indiana.
You can't catch them where I am, but I got them from my cousin who worked at Petco. So she would at one time I was like 7. I'm like, stop! I don't have enough space.
Yeah, and where I used to live, the house that I moved out of, there's a lake there in Echo Park, California. Tons of red sliders there, and that's where I took the picture of that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering. I'll keep an eye on your Twitter to see if anything pops up.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question and a request.
Okay.
So my question is, if you could play any part at all, what would it be and why? And my request is, could you answer it in Asmodeus' voice?
Well, I already answered that question. Right, we already answered. Sorry. Tony Soprano, not Tony Soprano, but I'd be on The Sopranos. I don't know. Let's see. Sorry, I can't do the whole voice while I'm thinking. What role?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough question because it's usually, especially if it's a movie that I've seen, it's probably one of my favorite performances, and I wouldn't be able to do any better than what they did. So, I can answer this without having seen it first. But I would have loved to have been able to play the Joker. Oh, I'm sure he's gonna kill it though. I can't wait to see his performance. But yeah, that would have been one that would have been a really great character to play, the Joker.
Hi. I really loved hearing you. My name's Jen, by the way.
Hi, Jen.
I'm an artist and art teacher. And I really, just now, you talking about looking at a painting that a person actually did it. They were alive and they did it. They actually, and I just happen to love, and I like to stand really close to art. And you're not supposed to. I've made that alarm go off a couple times. But just looking at, for example, Vincent van Gogh's brushstrokes, and he actually did it. And he was there and he ate that paint. I guess I really enjoyed you. I guess I never questioned, but I really just, as an artist, I'm glad that somebody else feels that way.
I think a lot of people feel that way. That's why it's such a powerful medium. It connects with people, and it's not always the same. Like, one Van Gogh painting that you connect with, I may connect with it also, but in a completely different way and for different reasons. I think that's why visual art is so wonderful. And it's like, if it can stand alone without any explanation, and you have some connection to it, that's what makes it so powerful. And because another human being did it and left it for us to ponder, again, I think that's why it's such a lasting medium.
And I also have a comment.
Okay.
You are extremely handsome and sexy.
Thanks.
That really came out last night.
I'll thank my parents.
Hi.
Hi.
How do you warm up before you act?
And action. I'm Asmodeus. No, a lot of times, it depends. I do a lot of yoga in real life, so I'll do stretches sometimes if it calls for it. A lot of times I'll meditate right before certain scenes. Whatever you gotta do to get yourself into the zone. Are you an actor?
Yes.
Yeah. Focus is key. Focus is the key, and presence. And so it's all like, if for some reason and this usually only happens like in an audition that I really want. I'll still sometimes get nerves, and then it's just a matter of slowing down the breathing, getting focused, concentrating on who this person is, and not the surrounding circumstances about the audition itself, what it could do, the money, any of that stuff has to go away. And then once you get on set, it's the same thing. It's like, you just have to focus on who this person is. Making the words your own, embodying the words and making them feel like they're coming out of your own soul instead of translating from a writer. So a lot of it is, yeah, it's meditation and physically it's the yoga, some stretches. And, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is about your, I guess, your personal dress style. You seem to have a really distinct style, and you pull it off well. And I was wondering if you could give advice on like how you kind of came into that style.
Huh. Thank you. So you wondering about my dress style? I don't know. I guess it pulls from a lot of places. Burning Man's always been one. There's always real distinct fashions from Burning Man. When I first started going, it was like, it was a lot more than what you're seeing, like feathers coming out to here and like furs and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I've since toned it down. But as a kid, I've just always been prone to just trying to express myself through clothing. I think it's a great way to express oneself. And I don't even know how it's translated other than just like connecting with something or color or something and feel like if you feel good in it, then it's yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
How do you memorize and rehearse your lines, and can you say some of your lines in character?
Which lines? Just any lines?
Any kind, your favorite.
Well, memorizing is just reading it over and over and over and over again, and then gaining a sense of what it is before you even try and bring it off the page. And most of the lines that I memorize, they flush out after the performance, after it's done. So yeah, I wouldn't really be able to recite a whole soliloquy that I had memorized in the past.
What's the favorite line, simple saying?
I'm Asmodeus, here to rule till such time as Lucifer returns with his son.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi. So first of all, I just want to say you've had the song Deo stuck in my head since last night.
You and me both.
And since I love your character so much, I was just wondering if you could just say, "Hey Ariel," in your Asmodeus voice.
Hey Ariel, how you doing?
Thank you very much.
Daylight come on, I want to go home. Yeah. Well, that's been a lot of fun. Are there any other questions? All right. There is, I guess I could talk about, there's another film I would suggest I just finished. I don't know did anybody see The Gift?
Yeah.
Cool. I did supernatural conventions in New Zealand and Australia. And while I was in both of them, I extended my trip for 10 days, just traveled around and check it out. And reconnected with nature in a way that I hadn't in a very long time, and made a short film about that experience. So that's also available on Vimeo for free, along with Valentino. Encourage you all to check it out. Everybody having fun? Nice. Yeah, these conventions are amazing. I'm having fun. No more questions? Is that? No. Hi.
Since we have some time, I was
Yeah,
going to
thanks.
ask another question that's been posted on my Facebook group.
Oh, perfect.
One person was very interested in the Shadim, which are the creatures Asmodeus tried to trick Jack into rising. If you could make up something that makes these beings so intimidating that Lucifer gave Asmodeus those scars and said, no, we don't want them here, what do you think that makes the Shadim so dangerous?
I think that they have the ability to kill Lucifer. I think that's why he's so scared of them. And I knew that if I could tame them, which I could kill Lucifer. And then be the king of hell!
I like that, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So I heard you talk in Vancouver about your paintings, and you brought them today. So
yes.
Thank you very much. I actually bought one of them.
Oh, cool.
Thank you. I'm just wondering how you get your inspiration for them. We've kind of asked Rob about how he is inspired to write songs and etc. And that's obviously an artistic outlet that you have.
Well, she asked how I get the inspiration of the paintings. I mean, it's been a lot. I answered that question earlier, but I can talk even more about how I'm inspired from paintings. Let's see. I mean, I kind of just I answered it pretty completely. It's were you here for that or no? Oh, you were out there. A lot of it is just the subjects, the people that I paint and the animals that I paint, and it's always just been an art form that speaks to me very deeply and is a lasting one. That something that I chose to participate in my early 20s after visiting all the museums and seeing the master works. So yeah, thanks. All right, just in time. Just in time. Yeah, we're there.
Retreat tonight at Saturday Night Special. Usually this kid hops in a plane and bolts out here. Tonight he's sticking around and is going to be a part of Saturday Night Special. So come rock it out with us tonight. And Jeffrey Parise.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice.
What was it? What's next?
What are you doing? What are you doing back there? Making shit up. I love seeing a hometown boy get all excited.
Hey, speaking
right
of,
here in his town.
I was informed that I forgot